The question is very simple. Are you living for Jesus? That's a question we all have to answer ourselves. He died for us so that we might die to ourselves. God created us for the purpose of living for Him, not for ourselves. It is a corruption of our nature that makes us want to live for ourselves and not for the Lord. And you can find more on that over in Revelations 4 and 11. You know, it tells us in verse 16, and we'll try to hurry here. We've had the bell. Wherefore, henceforth we know no man after the flesh, yet though we have known Christ after the flesh, yet now henceforth we know Him no more. When someone we know on this earth passes away, we don't know them again. You may have thoughts of them. You may have thoughts of some of their sayings. You may have thoughts of some of their inspiration they gave you through time. Jesus died here on this earth, and we know Him. Some, even those who walked with Him, knew Him better after His passing and after His resurrection. The disciples got a better picture of Him during the day of Pentecost. The disciples got a better picture of Him as they went on out doing His work after He ascended to heaven. Jesus is the only living person that's ever died on this earth that you will know after His flesh is gone. He lives inside of you. He works through you. And there's no doubt in that. As we get over in verse 17 tells us about a new life. Therefore, if any man in Christ is a new creature, old things are passed away, and behold, all things are become new. You know, it doesn't matter your class or your social standing, what race you are, what nationality you are, what language you speak, or what level of intelligence you have. Anyone can be a new creation in Jesus Christ. A new creation, old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new. Christ changes those who come to Him by faith and who are in Christ. The saved are not just forgiven, they are changed. Being saved isn't just turning over a new leaf. It's not just cleaning up your act. It's not just doing things a little different. It's a total change, a new creation with a brand new heart that God has came in and cleaned out. It is not just something God does for us, but it's something that God does in us. If we claim to be saved, those around us will be able to see it. If we are a new creation, the change will be impossible to miss. People will notice a difference without you ever saying a word. Now, I want to try to read this real quick before we get that other bell. It's something I saw that Charles Spurgeon said. It's fairly lengthy, so we'll go here. Charles Spurgeon said, the work of a new creation is even greater than God's work creating the world. My brethren, it was more difficult, if such terms are ever applicable to the omnipotence of God. It was more difficult to create a Christian than to create a world. What was there to begin with when God made the world? There was nothing, but nothing could not stand in God's way. It was at least passive. But my brethren, in our hearts, while there was nothing that could help God, while there's nothing in your hearts that could help God, there was much that could and did oppose Him. Our stubborn wills, our deep prejudices, our ingrained love of iniquity, all these things opposed God and aimed at thwarting His designs. Yes, great God, it was great to make a world, but even greater to create a new creation in Jesus Christ. So you're special. I mean, and I believe what he's saying here, what Spurgeon says. I mean, he spoke the worlds into existence, but look how we have fought Him over the years. Look how some of us took more than one or two times for Him to come into your heart to be saved. It's a great thing that God has done to remake us. Reconciliation. In verse 19, we didn't try to go and reconcile with God. He brought His reconciliation to us. We were the ones who caused the problem. We're the ones who separated ourselves from God, but who come calling on us? We weren't smart enough to come and find Him. He came to us and wanted to reconcile. He wanted to bring the love back together. And I thought of when we've all been saved and how when God's knocked on that door, the excitement of the heart's door, the excitement that's went through you, the anxiousness, the anxiety, the feeling, the beating of the heart before you walked that aisle or before you kneeled down wherever you were at and got saved. That feeling was unbelievable, right? But how was that feeling whenever you invited the Lord into that heart, right? It was even more immense. It was even more unbelievable. It about blew your toes off of you when the Lord finally came into your heart. Not just knocking on that door, standing there, but when you finally let Him in. That was a totally different kind of an excitement. But I wonder, is that excitement still the same? Have we let it dwindle? Have we let our excitement go down a little bit? Is our inspiration changed a little? Now, we're running out of time, so we won't get to be able to go through everything here, but like I was saying there, is that relationship still exciting to us? Do we still have the same zeal, or is some of that shine wore off? Are we ordinary Christians, or are we the extraordinary creatures that God has made us to be? And as we saw in verse 21, Jesus did the ultimate thing carrying that sin. A blameless, sinless man coming down and being drowned in it and weighted down by it. Wow. The Lord has done so much for us. So let's be well-pleasing to Him, as it tells us in our title here. And we better pray. We're going to hold people up. Yes, ma'am.